It's good to be back in the studio after, well, 2 week, a
2
little bit more
weeks.
than a 2 week absence actually, because we last
It's
recorded
Monday.
on Monday.
Monday, so it's it's like 2 weeks in a day.
And actually, we'll post it on our Patreon Discord, obviously, guys. But next week is also recording on a Monday.
I did put that in the clubhouse actually.
Oh, you did? Okay, so the recording after this one will be July the 1st.
Because we'll be on a plane on Wednesday,
On a
and
plane?
you'll need Tuesday to edit.
Definitely.
Ian, stop smiling when you say that. You smile when you say that. You're like, yeah, you've got to edit that little joker.
It's better to smile than to cry, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like Fastest like, I don't have to polish this one. It's over to you, Milo.
I do. I still need to polish it. I'm still going to polish it.
There is no escape.
Milo's going to edit it Tuesday. I'll have to polish. It won't be polishing it Wednesday night because I'll be at the Italian's apartment, but I'll be polishing it when I arrive in New York on the 3rd.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you polish it on the plane? And by it, I mean the
Finish the
podcast, not
primary
anything
edit.
else.
I could actually polish it on the plane. I could polish it.
If polishing something
We're talking
on the
about
plane.
the podcast. We're talking
Yeah,
about
we
the
are.
edit.
We're not talking about joining the Mile High Club solo. Hope the MacBook doesn't explode during the flight. Don't say that in security, Francesca.
Are they-
Yeah,
about the
Francesca,
England
do
match?
not say that when we're walking through.
The words explode and bomb are not very compatible with air
Solo
travel.
Mile High Club.
Oh, dear God.
I didn't know England were playing tonight.
Yep, the game's halfway over. It started at 8 o'clock.
Ooh. What's the
Even
score,
I know
Ian?
that, Mark, and I don't
I
like
only
soccer.
I only got informed that was happening because of being on live stream. And someone said, "Are you going to watch the England game?" I'm like, "No, I've got a podcast to record."
Yeah.
And I'd rather watch
Before
paint
we get
dry.
in the show, do you want to hear something quite funny?
Always.
Some of our
0-0.
listeners are actually quite comical. Steve from Norway tried to call the WhatsApp phone. We got a missed call from him.
Brilliant.
We
Steve,
don't
brilliant.
answer the WhatsApp
And
phone.
Steve knows that as well. He's done that as a joke. I've spent a lot of time with Steve. I know his humour now all too well.
This is Norway calling
Nil points.
nearby
England, 0 point.
No points.
Steve from Norway calling the North.
Anyway,
God.
shall we start the show before I pass out in the heat?
Let's do it.
Sure. This week, upon our return to the studio, I'm still shedding my Sardinian sunburn. Ian still has PTSD from his Necrozma raid luck, and Mark is craving a chocolate orange flapjack. Welcome back to the regular show that is the Incensed podcast on episode 177, and the three of us, we are reunited in the studio. Boys, how are you doing after... Well, it's a little bit of a time since it's passed, but your Madrid excursion.
I think we need a little bit of context about Mark and his flapjacks, to be honest.
It was on last week's show. I know. I edited it.
We did.
But we didn't say how he acquired the flapjack.
Well, I assume he either purchased it or he found it somewhere.
It was a
found
complimentary
it.
flapjack.
Did you steal it from someone else's pocket? Oh, I'm going to have that.
No, I didn't actually. I borrowed it from a table.
Borrowed it.
basket.
Did you put an empty packet back?
I think I even put my empty packet in the bin, actually. But,
Oh, good man. The
representing the UK and all that. Then
the world is smiling at you right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mark was
it
eating all the
delicious.
flapjacks. I found an air conditioning unit that was just the right height to just blow down the back of my t-shirt.
Did you eat that?
No, I just stood there for a very long time.
For a hot minute, wasn't it, Ian?
It was more than a hot minute.
Well,
I was a hot
hopefully
mess when I got
hot
there.
to cold minute.
God, minute. I just remember seeing Ian stood in the corner, like he never used to at school, but in that room he was always in the corner facing the aircon unit.
The naughty corner.
I really was antisocial. I just put the cold down my t-shirt.
Don't mind me. I'm hijacking this air conditioning unit.
But no, good. Thank you, Milo. Melting. As we record this, it is officially the hottest day in the UK this year. We've had 28, 29 degrees today.
Snapsies in London, mate. Snapsies.
Lovely.
Rather
And I
than
guess
that
up
of the
north,
temperatures
Ian?
we had in Madrid, actually.
Yeah. But what about you, Ian? What's it like in the Midlands? What sort of where's the thermometer?
Sticky and uncomfortable. There's very little breeze.
So just your chair.
That's my pants on the chair. Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
lovely.
Yeah, I'm on a leather chair as well. So if you hear like
I'm in leather
squeaking,
pants on a leather chair. Dear God.
It's not good.
Sounds-
We need some.
Ian, I was going to say, it sounds like one of the shops next to the venue of the bar for the social in Madrid, doesn't it?
Oh, I dare not ask about the district
It
that
was
that's
in
in.
a very interesting area of Madrid. The social was Thanks,
I guess
London
it's a cultural experience. You get to see every side of the city.
I saw it twice actually because we walked through that bit going into the city. So
it was a nice social, but when you go to a social, you expect it to be something that is social, not like a dance club where you can't sit down and talk to people.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
You're funny.
Seriously, all I could smell for the entire time I was there was body odor. It was bad down in because we was in a basement. It stunk.
Stunky.
It was very stunky. Yes.
It was stunky. Fantastic. Hey, Madrid, lots of sweaty Pokemon Go players sandwiched together.
Yep, Sue said it best in the chat. The social room was too small, too loud, no seats, and I was at armpit level on everybody. Gross.
Oh.
Yeah, and Sue being all of like 5 foot, then yes.
Ode de la Go Fest. Get your bottle now.
Bottled fragrance.
I think let's swiftly move it on. We won't be releasing that fragrance anytime soon.
It's like Mark's Rural Charm fragrance.
Yeah, it sounds better, doesn't it? Rural Charm over.
Rural Charm. I'd take a bottle of Rural Charm.
Go players.
Francesca's back on. What Sue said.
Bottled shiny sweat. There you go. Fantastic.
There was a lot of glistening bodies, yes.
Let's move it on swiftly to something that's a bit more familiar with this podcast.
Oi, you dirty dogs, drop your incense.
Because we'd love it if you were out exploring while listening to this show, and also, hopefully, you can get something awesome, shiny, snazzy, any manner of word to describe your catch that is good. And if you do so, you can share it using any of our socials. There's X, Instagram, and Threads. We mustn't forget that one. There is email, contact@incensedpodcast.com, and there is also our WhatsApp number, which Ian's going to read because I don't know it. Please, Vasa.
Come on, Vasa.
Seriously, I'm looking for my literally. My
you have. I know. I saw you go and get the phone.
I did
before the show started.
I did. Now, WhatsApp number is +44 759 269 5696. And just a reminder, Steve from Norway, this is a number for WhatsApp voice messages, not telephone calls. Thank you.
Not a direct line through to the north of England.
It's not a direct line to Milo, Mark, and myself.
No, it's not. But we'd love it if you'd send a message through that, or a voice message, actually. We're going to have some of those coming up later in the show. And the final method
we
of
are
contact...
actually getting way too many texts to it. We really want this for voice messages.
We don't need any extra reading, people.
But thanks for reaching out to us, is what I'm trying to say.
Thanks for doing that. But
we went from having no traction on it to now loads of written tractions.
Now we've got some traction on it, we're complaining.
Yes.
Anyway, the final method of contact is a direct message service that you'll be able to find through some podcast platforms that goes straight through to our Buzzsprout host
server,
where we put the podcast up every week. And any of those posts, you need to attach #Shinies of the Week.
Clarify spelling.
That would be SHINIESOFTHEWEEK. That is how we find your posts. But now...
And now, children, it's time for Getting to Know You with the Incensed podcast.
I'm also seeing reports from Francesco and Sue that there was no sangria at the social.
There wasn't. It was a bar,
that's
but it was like a nightclub bar. There wasn't making sangria. There was nowhere to sit. It was a very small venue room. But shout out to London's Finest. They actually did do something that people could go to. But seating would be better next time, I think. Positive feedback.
There you go. But I really enjoyed last week's live recording. And over the years, we've all said that we love recording at these live events or on location. They're few and far between, but they're a fantastic experience. So if you could put a pin on a map and record a live show for the Incensed podcast somewhere of your choice, where would you choose and why? And I mean, it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere that has had a Pokemon Go event, no Pokemon Go event, whatever takes your fancy. So, Marky, kick us off, dude.
Shabati Island would be probably preferable. I mean, obviously for the purists,
so the podcast wouldn't work.
Well, that's the problem.
How many douches?
Nothing would work, would it? So, we'll knock that one off. So, I found an interesting website because I'm struggling to think of a place that's different, and I put a website on you'll like this, boys.
Google
Called
Maps.
Random Coordinator Generator, and,
Oh.
and it picks a planet, and it picks a random.
It picks a
set of
planet in the solar
coordinates.
system.
It picks a planet in the solar system.
I
that- no,
pick Titan.
Titan.
Uranus.
That's
a planet.
That would be a brilliant intro. We are live from Uranus.
We are live. Can you feel us? 'Cause we're
Oh my
tingling.
god.
However, there's a flaw to this random.org app that it doesn't just pick land masses.
Oh.
So at the moment, it's giving me a place in the Tasman Sea, which looks beautiful, may I add, off the coast of New Zealand near Jamestown. So that isn't going to work, unfortunately. But
That's nearby Chibadi Island, I guess.
do you know what? I thought that. It's not too bad, is it? It's not too far off. But it's a great question, Milo. How cool would it be? And imagine this image of it, right? Because it's not one of the 7 wonders of the world, but
Should be.
it's pretty. It should be. It should be. And imagine Milo and Ian on one of each of the arms and me on top of the head, right?
Oh my god, where are you going with this?
We're in Rio de Janeiro. in Brazil.
Oh my god.
Yes, yeah.
And we are on top of the Christ the Redeemer statue. Incensed podcast.
This week on the podcast, we are on top of Jesus.
Because I've watched a documentary on it. You can get up it because it's amazing how it's structured. It's almost like I imagine like the Angel of the North. It's got like an interior structure to it.
Yeah.
You can climb up and obviously to maintain it, I guess, and clean it is probably the thing. Because imagine if a pigeon flies on top of it, and you might want to clean it.
Can't have that.
You can't have that. So I'd imagine us being on top of the Christ the Redeemer. We'll spray it incense green or have it lit up incense green.
We'll vandalise it as well.
We'll use lighting. And there'll be me, you, and Ian on top of the Christ the Redeemer, and
Oh my goodness.
broadcasting a show, the Incense podcast.
That'd be jokes. I really like that answer.
Can you help write to God for that permission?
Now, this question, it did get me thinking, and like Mark, I thought outside of the Olympics, I was thinking like Africa, I was thinking there's places in America I'd love to record. But then I thought, let's bring it back to something that could possibly happen, something that bare bones and the roots of it are ingrained in us. So I think if I could record the podcast live anywhere, it would have to be from Diddley Squat Farm.
Damn you!
Oh, you are funny, Ian.
Damn you!
Funny, Ian. I thought you.
It would have to. The
The
thing is, Whitfield and I are on the same wavelength, and
I had a horrible feeling you picked that.
yeah. So there's no reason we can't have the same answer because we are
dear.
kind of literally we're both vibing on that, and it would be great to actually record from Diddley Squat Farm, and the very slim chance that Clarkson might just wander by and make some sort of comment. It would be great, and it's within 2 hours of here by car.
That's the thing, is it's something that could actually happen.
Yes, it is. Really is.
We probably
Like when
need to get
find James May's
permission.
head.
Podcast from James May's head. That'd be great.
If it exists.
If it still exists, yeah, exactly. It's been 2 years since we last saw it.
It doesn't seem like it, but it really has.
Well, that was going to be my answer, but because we need a few more options, I'm gonna throw a reference to a bit of a blunder of mine from years gone by. I think it'd be quite cool to record a podcast from the top of the Shard, which only has 12 windows in it.
Just slightly more than your MX-5.
Yeah, just a few more. But obviously, it's a bit of a running joke with my terrible pub quiz guess on that one. But again, it's something that could theoretically happen. They probably charge more money to record a podcast up there compared to Diddley Squat Farm. I think it'd be quite interesting also to make that a potential video podcast, with an insane view of London right at the top of the Shard. Recording the podcast up there would be quite momentous for the show. Since Ian's highlighting messages from the chat.
Yeah, Ian. That's a bit.
So
off-putting now.
Francesco's
It should
written
be
in saying,
because then the viewers can see them.
why not record in Antarctica whilst raiding on the only gym there? That would be quite something. I think we'll have to let's put Antarctica as the 4th option on the poll. I
think
love
so.
her. We've got the Christ statue in Brazil. Then we've got Diddley Squat Farm and the Shard and Antarctica.
Deep Space Nine.
Let's find if the International Space Station. Let's get any more far-fetched with this. I'd love to hear what our listeners come up with on social media for that. But there was something that was not quite as momentous as a podcast recorded on top of Jesus Christ himself. The Community Day Classic last weekend.
Yeah, so we said when we were talking about what the Community Day Classic could be, back when Alexa was on the show with us, and I said I was pretty sure it was going to be a starter. Mark went one step further, thought it was going to be sort of Gen 2. And Cyndaquil was the Community Day Classic that we had this past Saturday. Now, Cyndaquil, and at the time, I didn't realize it had been so long. November 2018 was when we got it.
Yeah,
originally.
long
So
time
it's like
ago.
5.5 years. It was a long time between them. And this was one of the OG community days. So 3 hours, low shiny rates, and somewhat more of a grind. Now, it was actually a better Community Day Classic than I was expecting. I didn't struggle to find the shinies, but we don't with the new community days. It was inoffensive. It was a nice throwback. It felt comfortable. It felt a lot better than I was expecting it to be. And you know what? I'll take it. Let me rephrase what I mean when I say I'll take it. It wasn't Squirtle 4.0.
No, nothing will ever top that.
No, it won't. It can't possibly.
Well, I'd like to agree with what Ian sort of generically said. The Gen 2 starters are due their Com Day Classics, and I think putting Cyndaquil Fire type in technically Northern Hemisphere summer, quite timely. And yeah, it's been a long time since it was featured in its original Community Day. It wasn't one of the old ones that had a rehash with 6 hours like Charmander. This was actually due something, and I had a really fun day, to be honest. Lovely day out for it. Bit of a squad. There were a lot of people who haven't ever had the chance to get a shiny Cyndaquil who've come to the game since its original one.
People that I saw on X, got my Dex shiny Cyndaquil. I'm like,
yeah,
damn, because there was so many that hadn't got it.
The thing is, not only did it only have its Com Day Classic way back at the tail end of 2018, it's not really featured in a crazy number of events. I remember getting quite a few in Johto Tour, where we played that all together. It was a really fun day. But again, Johto Tour is now over 2 years ago. Long time. So really there are people who've come to the game since that and haven't had a chance to get it. So I saw tons of people getting their first shinies, which is fantastic. I personally was just going for a XL candy grind, which was pretty successful with a tier 3 mega fire type, and the double bonus of 2 times dust and XP was very, very cool.
First time they've done 2 times dust, 2 times XP. It's a good bonus for a classic.
Yeah, I honestly think that going forwards could be much more beneficial, because a Com Day Classic is kind of to cater to newer players who want to catch up with older Com Day events, and a lot of them need XP, and Stardust actually is a really good way to entice OG players like ourselves, because everyone needs Stardust. So that's a big tick from me. And I got to witness people getting Shundos and Schnundos, which is crazy. Good shout out to our community ambassador Vince, who'd come back from Madrid just like yourselves and nabbed the Shundo, which is a nice welcome back thing. I think I bet the best one I got was like a 93% shiny or something like that. So nothing too grand, good shiny total, but I really just enjoyed the day. It was lovely to just have quite a relaxed grind session for an OG shiny.
And let's face it, you didn't need to play it for 3 hours if you didn't want to.
Exactly. If you're just gunning for the shiny, just get the family done and dusted. But actually, you talked about low shiny rates. I remember the original Community Day for Cyndaquil. I think I got my best shiny total out of all of 2018's Com Days, and it was like 9 shinies. That was the most I'd had on any Community Day up until that point. I was like, 9 shinies for Cyndaquil. Oh my god! And this time around, you get 46.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That shows the shiny rates are vastly different these days, but also just the general spawns, like the spawn points they're probably 3 times more, maybe more, than they were back in 2018.
It does bring it into context, doesn't it? Now people are moaning about community days, and you think back, comparing and contrasting the current classics to the originals, that there's probably 3-4 times more shinies, possibly even more than we was getting back on the original community days.
Yeah, judging by my numbers, it's over 4 times more, which is crazy. But then again, we do have much better spawn points these days on the overworld and everything.
Yeah, the game board is a lot better than it was.
Yes. Now, I'd love to hear what Marky said, because he was doing something a little bit more fun, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about Pokemon Go too much.
What were you doing? Share with the listeners.
Me and my better half went to a festival, music festival. It was our first festival that we've been to together. One of my first festivals I did previously on my own. We went to the good old Isle of Wight music festival. It was fantastic. Landed down Thursday and we glamped it. It was nice. We had a nice little teepee or yurt or whatever they call them set up.
A yurt, yeah, I think you're right.
Comfy bed in it, which was actually nice. So we had relatively little stuff that we needed to trawl from the car to it, and we were there till very early Monday morning.
Nice.
I dipped in, dipped out. I was gifted a ticket, and I always feel like there's a moral obligation if someone's been so kind to make a gesture like that I will play it. It's a solid classic community day. And actually in the summer solstice, which was obviously on the Friday, it makes sense it was a fire-type Pokemon in theory, burning bright as Cyndaquil does from its bum. So I can use that word.
Burning bright on Uranus.
Right on Uranus. How did I play it? So I was obviously at the festival, had my spatial rends on for a little bit. It was actually quite nice to see the game map because the Isle of Wight Festival is actually a lot of fields. I had access to probably about 3 or 4 Pokestops around the edges of it. And it was nice to see some people with lures on them. Really? Obviously people playing it at the festival. And
well done, peeps.
Well done, peeps, representing. And I had a nice one. I completed the research. I got a couple of shinies, which is nice. Where I was sat, I had probably about 13 or 14 spawn points with the spatial rend on. So I was able to dip in and out of it and complete the research relatively trouble-free. I just want to give a shout out to Jake, actually, who I met there. He was very kindly, and it was a bit weird when you're at a festival and someone comes up to you and goes, "Do you do Pokemon Go content?" And you go, "Yes, I do." And then you start having a conversation about it. But I did pass the pod on, and he has heard of the podcast. And he said he's going to start listening to it. So, Jake, just in case you have started to listen to the podcast, and we will be checking. I don't know how we'll be checking, but thank you, mate. It was great to play Cyndaquil Community Day, loosely speaking, but if I hadn't have been at the Isle of Wight Festival, I would certainly have been probably playing it for a couple of the hours. I think we can safely say that Kanto's done now when it comes to classics. So hopefully... Oh, here we go.
No, don't.
I wouldn't go down that road.
Weedle's coming. Just you wait.
Weedlecom Day Classic.
Oh, please,
Ian,
no.
Ian, bad Ian. Put that back.
Right, the electric Weedle's coming. The classic Weedle could come.
Spoilers.
Ian, very good, Ian. Like that. A little link in there to maybe later in the show. Very
segue.
Good.
That's what we call. But he's arrived too soon.
There's a tease. It wouldn't be the first time. There's a tease. We'll call it a tease in the industry.
Premature.
But anyway, the 3 headline acts, because I think it'd be quite nice for people that didn't know. So Miley gets a feeling for the music that was on offer. The Prodigy headlined on Friday. Amazing set.
Yes.
Fantastic set.
Tick. Pet
Shop Boys on Saturday, who I've never seen, one of my bucket list bands I wanted to see. Really good. And
half a tick, I've heard of them.
Half a tick. That's
Pet
good.
Shop
That's
Boys
good.
like that. I was thinking, they're before I was born.
I know, but there's some iconic music there.
And Green Day on Sunday were phenomenal. And I love Green Day. And Billy Joel, how the hell is he 52? He still looks 20. And he still behaves like he's 20. Oh, and boys, just to let you know, Ash is at the Squat Farm tomorrow, so he's going to ask if there's room for you boys there. So,
well, Ash is going up, is he?
Ash is going to the Squat Farm tomorrow.
Fantastic.
Ask Lisa for us.
Yes. Can we bag a picnic table?
There's no asking some random. We need to ask Lisa or Jeremy.
Or Gerald. Gerald.
Gerald,
no,
yes.
Gerald doesn't run the farm. It's
oh, mate.
Just get a verbal contract from Gerald.
He does.
Gerald said something. That's what happens. Well,
actually, Milo's probably the one that would understand Gerald.
I'll try and retune my West Country brain in there. But obviously, we've got to try and rate this event out of 10. However, first of all, Marky, rate your festival out of 10.
It was a solid 9 out of 10. Everything about it was fantastic. The music was brilliant, and No issue with anybody there. Really nice people. There always are nice people.
No
It's a family-friendly
server issues.
festival.
Anything, no.
No, I had 5G and 4G all weekend, so that was good. Even with 80,000 people there, it was pretty stellar. So
There we go.
That was good. Yeah, 9 out of 10 for the festival. For Cyndaquil Community Day, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10, purely based on how much I actually paid attention to it. But no
There we
issue
go.
with the choice of Pokemon at all. It was good.
Fantastic. We have a 7.
7.
What about Cascada? Ian is deep in
I
thought
did
right now.
enjoy this Community Day Classic. Starter Community Days are never top of my rankings because the little bleeders are just a pain to catch sometimes. Shiny rates
want
were
Amber, don't
good.
you?
I didn't feel the need to play the entire 3 hours. Cyndaquil, whilst a cool Pokemon, I never quite understood why the fire comes out of its bumhole. I'm going to give it a 7 too.
And for the toasty arse Pokemon, I'm going to also give it a 7 because it takes off a very OG Com Day, as we've said. The double bonus was fantastic, and I saw tons of people having a really fun day. So as a Com Day goes, it's vastly
Take your
better
hat
than
with you.
average, but not top tier. However, we're going to go from something that we thought was mildly fun to something where I think a lot of people are going to say it's not too fun. The Scorching Steps. Hashtag fun. The Scorching Steps event where Shiny Larvesta was released to the world. And we talked about this event 2 weeks ago. Very egg and research focused. No wild spawns focused at all for this event. There were a few bonuses of half egg distance, and if you faffed around with the widget on your phone, whichever you decide to utilize, you could get your first 3 eggs at quarter hatch distance, don't you know? So looking at things, how the event played out, I think I was in the minority of having a pretty good event starting with things, because I managed to hatch the Shiny Larvesta out of the first 52 eggs, I think it was I did, and it was a 10k for me. I've seen other people getting it from 5s and 2s, but it was a good old 10-kilometer egg for me. And things that weren't put up anywhere else and were only posted, I think, once on socials, I managed to hatch, you might like this, Marky, a tiny, shiny slug.
If anyone's going to do it, Milo, it's going to be you, my boy.
It was a tiny, shiny slug. I thought, that's adorable. However, and Ian may disapprove of this, I think the Shiny Larvesta and the subsequent shiny, tiny slug may have caused me to go a little bit overboard, because I think in total I hatched north of 370 eggs.
Of course you did.
You're on holiday, Milo.
Of course you did, Milo.
And luckily the event started after I got back from Sardinia. Yes, out of nearly 400 eggs, the grand total of what I acquired was the Shiny Larvesta, a tiny shiny slug, and a Hundo Litleo. And the rest of things were 23 Larvesta hatched.
That's good.
I would say after the first day or two, the Larvesta rate seemed to just collapse for me. But it is what it is. I enjoyed the event. You can hatch eggs as much or as little as you want to, really. The Larvesta is a chase, and it will be a chase for a very long time for a lot of people. I'm thrilled to have been lucky to get one, and very much looking forward to hopefully lucky trading it with someone in New York. But I wish there were some wild spawns, genuinely. I would have liked some wild spawns for the event. It would have been extra fun. The research tasks, oh my god, there were so many Slugma tasks. It was ridiculous. And when you have a research task that says, explore 3K and you may get a Slugma, that doesn't incite excitement for a player like myself, and I doubt for many other people as well. That's my take on it. What about Vasa? With your, we always say don't hatch eggs. Did you hatch eggs?
Yes, but I was quite restrained. It's that burnout after Go Fest. So I did hatch eggs, but at a drastically reduced rate. So I only hatched during the event 12 eggs.
That is restrained.
And got not even a 1 Larvesta, let alone a shiny. No shinies from the event. Two Turtonator, and the rest were pretty much Slugma and Litleo.
Turtonator.
Turtonator. for once, did what I said I was going to do. I didn't hatch the eggs, and after the amount of incubators and raid passes that I used in Madrid, I just wasn't going to put my hand in my pocket to buy more incubators.
That's fair.
I kind of knew it was going to go from one extreme to the other when Ian followed that. And I think for most people, it would have probably gone from one extreme to the other.
Well, actually,
We've got the fortunate and the realistic.
Well, I don't know, because look at this comment. Barside has just said 400 eggs, 3 Hundo Litleo, 1 Shiny Larvesta after the first 30 eggs.
So he got quite lucky, but then he's in the same tier as me, who just went nuts on the eggs. Got a few more Hundo Litleo, though. Nice.
Well, normally I would again, I normally do go for the eggs, but no, not this time.
I think egg events highlight people who work in professions that allow them to walk a lot. And I say that with love, because anyone that can hatch over 300 eggs isn't doing it on a weekend. Unless they're walking the whole 24 hours. I'm not envious, because this was a costly event. I kind of disliked the event in the terms of what it was trying to get people to do. Certainly in between Go Fests, I think this event needed wild spawns, and I commented today, because I did actually play the event today. I sort of commented that it needed Litleo and Slugma in the wild.
Yeah.
Even if those were the only two that were spawning in the wild, it would have emphasised that focus on the event. As we know, the infinite incubator grind is going to limit you very much, and you'll roll the dice on it if that's how you happily play the game, and I love that. But I think X is a great place for convincing you that everybody's getting the shiny Larvesta.
Yeah, you only ever see the good stuff.
You only ever see the good stuff. And to be fair, I think a lot of people did get the shiny Larvesta, actually. So I think fair play to them.
Well, it's always the usual suspects that post these things, isn't it? If you actually put into context how many people are flexing on X that they got the shiny Larvesta, and then the actual number of people playing the game, it's not a fair representation.
Yeah, it's not a fair representation, you're right.
But I think, like you said, it's misleading. Milo, you made me laugh, actually, when you said you go. So when I did like the first 52, I was like, okay, the first, where's this number going, Sunshine? Where's this number going?
That's it. On that first day, I played it hardcore. I played it hardcore the whole time, really, but it helped that we had the Com Day Classic as well, so we were all walking around doing stuff. You hadn't
been at Go Fest for the entire weekend before.
True, and I think Ian and Mark as well make a good point with, if you've just come off the back of a Go Fest, you're very unlikely to go, I'll go and hatch a lot of eggs, like the majority of people, probably.
But what I will say is, going back to this thing about shiny Larvesta, it's definitely perma-boosted.
Mm-hmm.
If people are hatching 150 eggs upwards and they're getting 15, 16 Larvesta encounters, I'm just saying approximates here, and some people are getting 1 or 2 shinies in those numbers, and I've seen 1 or 2 people getting them, then it is perma-boosted, because if it was a 1 in 450, no one's getting shiny Larvesta at those drop rates. So I think that's a given. Because of that, I was like, I want my shiny Larvesta. I was off today, and proper recovery day after the festival, because we were up very early on Monday morning to get back. Did not know how I was going to feel with Madrid travel and all that. I was a bit like, ugh. I thought I'd give this egg event a go. I hatched 57 eggs, and I've got 5 of them still there percolating. I like that word, Zoe. It's a lovely word. Percolating. And they will hatch tomorrow at some point. And I got 3 Larvestas from those 57 eggs, so that's not a bad drop rate. I take that 1 in 18-ish approximate, which is fair. But it's the rarest tier out of all the eggs, bar the 10, I think, which is on a level par with Charcadet and Turtonator. Even though they want you to believe that it's Charcadet weighted.
It's Charcadet all the time. Oh yes,
and they all begin with 39. That's just the way they like to hatch.
However, you're so right. Oh my god, like all the Charcadet I hatched were utter trash.
Utter trash. However, I didn't hatch a shiny from the event, so Larvesta will have another event in the future, and it will continue to be in eggs. If it is a perma-boosted egg shiny, then that's quite nice. But I did get a Hundo Slug for my
nice.
eggs.
Fantastic.
511 CP, which is nice. And I did actually get a couple of wild shinies today on my ventures, so in a weird way, that the fact there was no event spawns, I did get a couple of shinies. Got some shiny bacon bird today as well on my daily free raid that I did, and it was a decent one as well. So,
yum.
And I got my best Larvesta ever, 93% Larvesta. So hey, it's not bad. But 370 eggs, Milo. Oh my days!
It might be a little bit more than that, because I can't quite work out what was prior to the event last week. So yeah.
Milo.
But actually, you made a good point about the Charcadet, and this is the final thing I'll say, is that, do you remember when Charcadet was released? I think it was beginning of May, with the
like uber
Pokemon Horizons crossover event, where that was released into eggs. I think it was 10Ks. I'm trying to remember back. But it was super rare, and it was hard to get, and then literally like a month and a bit later, it's back, and it's the most common hatch out of a 10K. Admittedly, you get 2s and 5s a bit more regularly, but that Charcadet, let me see, out of that number of eggs, I got the best part of 35 Charcadet, which in reality isn't too many more than the Larvesta, but then bear in mind the Larvesta were from all 3 egg pools. But anybody was after a Charcadet, this was the event to hatch it, honestly.
I like the idea of the quest grind for Turtonator, walking the 3 eggs or hatching the 3 eggs.
Yeah, it's been
very
there before.
rare.
That's not a new one in quests.
No, but couldn't find it. Not many of them.
It wasn't very common.
No. And again,
I just found slugs.
Yeah.
Just slugs constantly.
Yeah.
Well,
Sue said this in the chat. I hope to hatch my shiny Larvesta at GoFest. And this brings up a good point that Larvesta was a very, very common hatch at Madrid. And I'm guessing Sendai before that from eggs. Anyone go to New York?
New York.
It could be shiny.
Oh.
it should be, shouldn't it? They won't
No,
turn the shiny off.
The shiny's out there. Yeah.
It will be, unless something goes horribly wrong, it will be shiny. I don't remember if Global GoFest has special 7K eggs as well.
Don't recall.
Don't remember. Don't quote us on that, but it may be featured in eggs there as well. But
I think we've spoke about Scorching Steps longer than it deserves, so shall we put this one to bed?
I think so. I was going to say, hopefully we're done and dusted and we can rate it out of 10. I'll start off by saying I'll give it a 6 out of 10, despite very good fortunes and hatching like a madman. Wild Spawns would have given it a nice big boost. Litleo and Slug the shiny boost that was advertised again is one of these advertisements where, yes, it is boosted, but not anywhere to the degree that you might expect. So it got a bit repetitive, I'd say, after like a day or two.
Miley, you said you had good RNG luck. You got your shiny Larvesta in your first 30 odd eggs, wasn't it?
50.
50 eggs.
Yeah.
And then you didn't get anything else after another 300 eggs.
I got a tiny shiny slug.
Boosted shiny.
You've got to know when to stop.
It's better to live in bliss and ignorance.
A boosted shiny. You got one of them. Sorry, Ian. Listen, I don't like egg events, even though I had a play with it today. I danced with the devil because it was a nice shiny potential there, and it's a shiny I didn't expect to see in the game yet. It's a nice addition to the egg pool now. I don't like these events. I think the Larvesta's the only thing that made me want to play it, so I'm going to give it I'm probably going to give it a 4 out of 10. I don't think it was that great. It was probably a con. They weren't boosted, Slugma and Litleo from everything that I've seen online. Seems debatable. So
and I'll round this one off. And sorry, Niantic, I can't really give this a positive review. It was a terrible event. It didn't really have enough to engage me personally. After and I appreciate not everybody goes to live in-person GoFest, but after Madrid, before New York, and then we're having to pay stupid amounts of money for multiple incubators, which I actually resisted the temptation to do. Sorry, big fat fail. 4 for me as well, Mark.
There we go. Some fairly strong critique on that one, but justified, I believe. However, we may find out where Larvesta sits in the Pokédex soon, because it's time for...
a bit of a favourite, this one. It's been a little while since we've played this, I think, but
it is. Yeah.
Play Your Dex Right. It's been a hot minute, hasn't it?
Was it with Alexa, wasn't it, last time?
Oh, yeah, it was. But the 3 of us haven't played it together for a long time.
There you go.
So there we go.
Very nice sidestep.
Nice sidestep. But yes, it is Play Your Dex Right, and we are going to play this in the way that we've done with other games. We're going to alternate the way that we play it. So it's me to you to me. And we'll keep doing that until we've got one person left standing. Unless we all get it wrong in the first round, then we're all back in the game. So I'm going to be giving this to Milo. Milo will in turn be giving it to Ian. Ian will be giving it back to me.
The human centipede.
Roll the human.
God, that's not the nickname of this format we're giving.
The Human centipede. Right, so Milo. I'm going to start with a Pokemon I doubt that you've got because you weren't that lucky with your eggs. I'm going to start with Volcarona. As my starting Pokemon. And I would quite simply like to know, is Hydreigon higher or lower on the Pokédex than Volcarona?
Oh, dearie me. That's a good one. Good as in I don't know what the answer is. I'm trying to think where Hydreigon sits at the tail end of one of the rows. Where the hell is Volcarona?
Where's that shadow in your
Pokédex? I'm gonna say that Hydreigon is lower than Volcarona.
Well, Milo, I was surprised that family's actually in Unova, but yeah, you're right. It is lower by a couple of places, mate. So you're correct.
I've just noticed that Whitfield's forgiven Slackoff.
Oh,
yeah, I couldn't stay mad at him.
Slackoff is out the box.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm handing this one off to Vassar, and we've got 2 Pokemon that were featured at Madrid Go Fest.
Ooh.
So, Ian, I'd like you to tell me, is Crabrawler higher or lower than Oricorio?
Ooh.
With some Gen 7 goodness.
I have not got a clue. I would say, hypothetically, that Crabrawler would be lower.
You are correct, Ian. Crabrawler is lower than what is in the Pokédex entry, the Bailey form. Ballet, whatever it is.
Catch first, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's whichever.
Fantastic. So there you go. Through to round 2.
Now, let's have a think.
Tutudito.
Yeah. Tutudito. Is it higher or
lower? I'm going to
lower?
go for that one then.
Oh,
Put your Pokédexes away. Don't cheat at you.
My Pokédex is not visible.
A couple of years ago at Pokemon Go Fest in Seattle, Rufflet was a shiny that was there and pretty darn cool one, actually, at that. Remember getting mine at Fisherman's Wharf. Mass427, tell me, is Rufflet higher or lower in the Pokédex than Vullaby?
2 birds.
2 birds,
2 birds, one stone.
2 birds, 1 graveler.
1 rock type.
1 rock type. I have no idea, Ian, so I'm going to say that Rufflet is higher than Vullaby.
Rufflet is lower in the dex.
Oh,
No!
I don't have to host the pub quiz next week. Yes! I'm out of the game!
Spoilers.
So, Whitfield, get that jingle ready. It's time for a head-to-head. Mexican standoff, yep.
Mexican standoff. So, Milo, I'm not going to do you dirty like Ian did me then. So that was brutal, that one was.
Yeah, you're too kind.
But I did learn that Ian got his shiny Rufflet at Canary Wharf, which is something
Not
I didn't
Canary
know
Wharf,
before.
Fisherman's Wharf.
Fisherman's.
I was joking, Fisherman's.
Where fishermen roam free.
Oh, bless them, bless them, bless them. So, Milo, Yveltal. But I want to know, is Xerneas higher or lower than Yveltal?
I'm going to go alphabetical order. I will say that Xerneas, because it's X, is lower than Yveltal.
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
Yes, that's why I answered.
Like Zygarde comes after Y, maybe, the Z.
You'd think so. I mean,
You'd think there was a main series game.
it's like a pub quiz question. I've got to go with my best judgment, which isn't usually correct.
Well, Milo, you're correct. Well done.
Yes.
We'll see if he does that with Spearow and Tangler next time in. See if he goes down that route.
S&T. Let's go.
Milo's most loved place in Earth. Where's that?
I don't know.
Yveltal?
I think he means Fisherman's Wharf, because Milo was worried he was going to die
Dwarf, oh yeah.
of a salmon in the face.
Just surrounded by death.
Fisherman's
Okay. So, these are Ultra Beasts coming up, all right? I want you to tell me, Vassar, is Buzzwole higher or lower than Pheromosa?
Buzzwole is higher.
You are incorrect.
Oh, so Whitfield is the winner.
Buzzwole is lower than Pheromosa. In fact, it's lower than most Ultra Beasts, only from Nihilego.
On that note.
On that cheery note right there. So yes, I am hosting it next week. Well, good game. Good game, boys. Good game.
Good game, Sir Game. You are the game of Sirs, Lord Game.
The Sirs of Game. Yes, we may have something fun in the works for next
Milo's
week's
only won this
show.
because we haven't had a listener on to play against us.
Absolutely. And because it's my show, I made sure it happened that way. But we love Play Your Dex Right. Fantastic game. Good game, as we said, boys. But I think we've prattled on for a lot. There is so much to talk about in...
It's the news.
Oh, yes. And we're kicking off with an event that has started, 2 days prior to this episode dropping. It is the 8-year anniversary event. Pokemon Go has been going for just over 8 years at this point when this show releases, which is mental. And boys, I think we need a big round of applause because they haven't chosen War Turtle for this event.
Yay!
They decided to go with Grimer as the focus. So Pokédex number 88, and incidentally some other things are also being featured. So 8 years, join the fun. This event runs from 2 days ago, basically June the 28th at 10 a.m. right through until July the 3rd, which is Wednesday at 8 p.m. your local time. And some Pokemon debut is coming. Grimer and Muck wearing their party hats, and yes, you can potentially get a party hat shiny, which, given it's a red party hat, the red and the green contrast might actually be quite nice. The other thing, 808 in the Pokédex, according to Pokemon Go, Meltan is finally going to be able to be shiny from the mystery box during this event. So you can open your mystery box and get that Meltan shiny if you haven't done so, because I don't remember when the last time we could get shiny Meltan was. It feels like an eternity.
And this problem is it because they keep turning it off outside of events rather than just leave it as an active shiny.
Yes. Go for what was known as in the OG days, Nutto.
When it was first dropped,
Nutto.
it was. Yes.
And it was first because everyone thought it's Ditto with a hexagonal nut on its head, which it is.
And what community day did Nutto first appear on?
That was Chikorita, wasn't it?
Chikorita. It was Chikorita. It just appeared randomly, didn't it? And then very random. 1 point to you.
So you'll already be playing this event with the following bonuses. Now these are, and the first one I do quite like, the increased chance to become lucky friends.
Nice.
The increased chance to get lucky Pokemon in trades. Now, Mark needs to do some trades based on the fact that he was giving Shundos out left, right, and centre the other week in Madrid. Friendship levels will also increase faster than normal, so I'm guessing twice as fast when opening gifts, trading Pokemon, or battling together in raids, gyms, or trainer battles, and the chance of finding 8 or 88 Gimmighoul coins when spinning Pokestops with the Golden Lure module will, or maybe more, ! So there's some pretty decent bonuses there, but that's not all. In addition to these bonuses for the anniversary event, you'll be getting these bonuses on the following days. Now, back on June the 28th, you will have had half egg hatch distance when eggs are placed in incubators, and that will have ran from 10 a.m. through to 1 minute to midnight on the 29th. You'll currently be experiencing until July the 1st at 1 minute to midnight 2 times XP for catching Pokemon, and from the 2nd of July at midnight essentially right through to the 3rd of July at 8 p.m. local time when we're arriving in New York City, 2 times Stardust for catching Pokemon.
Well, with all events, there are going to be wild encounters. Oh, joyous to the year. Brilliant. Happy flipping day. I was expecting Chikorita wearing a party hat, but no, we get Bulbasaur wearing a party hat.
And we also get Charmander wearing a party hat.
Yeah, thanks guys for giving me the water type. Squirtle wearing a party hat.
We've got Pikachu wearing a cake hat.
Yes,
Yeah.
Pikachu.
Francesco will be
He's
loving that
back.
one.
Grimer wearing the party hat, as we mentioned.
Eevee wearing a party hat. Again, another one for Francesco to chase.
Sprigatito not wearing a hat.
Fuecoco drastically missing its own costume.
And Quaxley is missing something on the top of his head, but it looks like he's wearing some sort of hat, actually, as well.
Well, they are the wild encounters, but some trainers might even encounter the following. Yes, this is the highlight of the event. Not a
Don't know
normal
about
Grimer, and a Alolan Grimer that will be hatless. Brilliant. This event gets better. So the following Pokemon will be appearing more frequently on these dates. So on June the 28th, starting at 10 a.m, running through to 1 minute to midnight on June the 29th, p.m. local time. These Pokemon will be appearing more often. We've got Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Totodile, Milo's favourite, Trico,
Yay.
Torchic, and Ian's favourite Mudkip. But none of them are wearing a hat, unfortunately.
That's a real shame. And coming up are more starters not wearing costumes. So, June the 30th at 12 a.m., that is midnight, right through until July the 1st at 11:59 p.m., your local time, you will find the following. Turtwig, Chimchar, oh, God almighty, Piplup, Snivy, Tepig, and Oshawott, all lacking a hat.
Ian, 24-hour grind for Milo on that, do you think? Starting that one at midnight.
Just nothing but Chimchar.
Well, actually, listeners, I don't know if you know this, but our nickname for Milo is actually Chimchar because he is the FOMO monkey itself.
Yes.
I was FOMOing for Madrid, and I'll be foam-outing for New York.
Yes.
But actually, Milo does look a little bit like Chimchar. Just put the picture side by side.
Again, Ian, I've got some eye drops in my clear vision, mate. Yeah.
But do you want to know something quite funny? Actually, when I was at Madrid, I actually realised that Mark looks like a Pokemon as well.
All right, Ian, chill out.
I don't see that on the article.
Hang on, let me find it for you.
Does he look like one of the Pokemon that's featured on July the 2nd and 3rd?
Hey, Milo, we need to gang up on this one. He's now
We're going to find
liberties.
a Pokemon that he looks like. When we've already said he looks like a shiny Fennekin. There are ruder things you've been called than Silver Fox, to be honest.
I've been called a lot worse. Oh, that's it. Mark looks like, and just look at the smile, it's a spitting image. The Cherim, the sunshine form.
Oh, Cherim. I've got
Mark
a soft
does
spot
look
for
like Cherim.
I don't mind being Cherim because that means I'll be Chris Jan's buddy for all his life. And
There you go.
I feel like I've known Chris all my life. So that's nice, Ian. Thank you.
Anyway, back to it. On July the 2nd from midnight through to July 3rd at 8 p.m. local time to run out this event. Chespin, Fennekin, Froakie, Rowlet, Litten, and Poplio. No hats to be seen anywhere.
That's a bit sad, isn't it? Because actually, Ian, all of these have the chance of being shiny.
With the exception of
with the
Poplio.
exception of Poplio.
Rip.
Yeah, but Poplio will be able to be shiny once it gets its community day later on this
They should
year.
just do what they did with Snivy, shouldn't they, with Poplio? Just drop it in its event before it has a com day. Make it shiny. Then give it a com day.
They're running out of shinies. They're running out of Pokemon. That's not going to happen.
Fair point, Ian. The game will be over in 2039, the way they're going with these crazy amounts of
Just
shinies.
Rank is interviewing Eurogamer.
Yeah, he's turning off shiny Pokemon.
I don't think he said that.
Well, there we go. So that is fun. But we have raids. Yay! We've got raids. And
The best tier.
Yeah, miss these off your bucket list if you don't raid them if you haven't got them anyway. They're pretty rubbish. But the following Pokemon will appear in raids. Pokemon appearing in 1-star raids will have a great. Don't
Don't fall
believe this
for it.
with a pinch of salt, like Slugma was boosted, Litleo was in that last event. You mark my words. They have a greater chance of being shiny Pokemon when found in the wild by 0.001% potentially. The 1-star raids are Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, and Grimer, all wearing a party hat, and Pikachu wearing its K-Cat. And yes, if you're lucky, you might encounter a shiny one. Grimer wearing a party hat will not spawn in the wild. It'll appear in raids, and you'll see one every 5 hours.
Quite probably.
That's the mix of a
That's if you're
great
lucky.
event.
The other thing, if you're lucky, the Field Research Stars rewards. So event-themed Field Research Stars are going to be available, and you might be able to find encounters with first partner Pokemon. Oh dear God. Such as Bulbasaur, Cyndaquil that everybody doesn't have tons of right now, Mudkip, and more. So probably just all the starters. And if you're dying for some Mega Energy, you may also be able to get the Gen 1 starters and Gen 3 starters with some Mega Energy. So Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, Sceptile, Blaziken, and Swampert.
Yeah, but you know what might save this event? There's going to be some timed research.
Oh, do tell.
Completing tasks will earn you XP, Stardust, and encounters with event-themed Pokemon, such as, get ready for this, Raticate wearing a party hat, Nidorino wearing a party hat, Wobbuffet also wearing a party hat, Meltan, no party hat, and more.
Oh.
But if that
Meltan
is not
with a
enough
party
to
hat,
keep you
come on.
happy, there's going to be some paid timed research. We know that Niantic loves dropping a paid time research. This is going to be a $2 ticket or equivalent in your local currency, and completing the event-themed research. Bear in mind, it is timed. So if you don't complete it, what happens, boys?
You lose
You
it.
do lose it. Yes, bye-bye research.
You lose.
But for completing it, you will get 2 encounter, well, some Pokemon. Some Pokemon. It says an encounter with Meltan, so a Pokemon. But you will also get the following: an incubator, a super incubator, a premium battle pass, a lucky egg, a rocket radar, a star piece, an incense, a puffin, and 88,888 XP. I'm going to go straight out there and say, for $2, that's actually pretty good value. You're getting a lot for your money there.
But what I would say, heed caution, Ian. You need to complete event-themed research tasks to get these, such as evolving 8 Pokemon, spinning 8 Pokestops, hatching 8 Pokemon, battling in 8 raids. I'm joking, those 2 aren't listed on it. But you mark my words, you're going to be spending more than what you get back.
I don't necessarily think you will.
My prediction for next week, we'll wait and see. There's going to be 8 research tasks you need to do. I worked it out. I've cracked the code. 8 is the magic number.
Hopefully
There's not a lot of things you can do 8 times.
8 Pokemon.
That'll be one of them. That'll be one of them.
And there's something in this event for players who weren't playing back towards the tail end of 2020, I believe it was, when Shiny Celebi was available. So for $5 or the equivalent in your local currency, you'll be able to pick up the Masterwork research story Whispers in the woods. This will all lead to a Shiny Celebi encounter. There's a lot of text in this. Tickets will be available to purchase up until the end of the event, which is 8 p.m. on July the 3rd. So after that, the ticket will disappear. This research, thankfully, isn't timed. It's Masterwork. You can have to buy it within the event window, but you won't lose it once you do. Trainers who purchase this Masterwork research story or have previously received, was it the Distracted by Something Shiny special research? God, they had a long-winded title back in the day. These are rewards for anybody who buys the ticket or who had the OG Shiny Celebi research. During the event, we'll have 2 times Incensed duration, nice, 2 times Daily Adventure Incensed duration, nice-ish, and 2 times Lucky Egg duration. So you basically get a little bit of Roar of Time for free if you buy it or have already bought the Shiny Celebi. But trainers who completed the Distracted by Something Shiny special research story will not be able to purchase this Masterwork research story, so you can't get 2 Shiny Celebi.
Which makes sense.
Shiny
Mythicals.
Because they did the same for Mew back in the day, so it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've got the best bit to the end here, and if you're still listening to us on this 8th birthday celebration article, the Pokemon Go web store has got an anniversary box sat in it, yes. So the Pokemon Go web store is celebrating this exciting milestone with the anniversary box. So this offer features 3 remote raid passes, 1 incubator, and 3 premium battle passes for $4.99, or the equivalent pricing tier in your local currency.
Now, you thought it couldn't get any better than that, didn't you? Well, it can. For this event, we've got stickers.
What?
Yep, we've got stickers. Grimer stickers, Pokeball cake sticker, a big 8 sticker with Mark's favourite Kanto-mons. You see, we never escape Kanto.
Nice.
And a Meltan sticker. It looks pretty cool. And there will also be Pokemon showcases. As we know, that these have become they are a regular fixture now. And it will probably be for your XXL Mons of some description.
the biggest nutto.
Do you know what, though? I had to... I thought they're going to announce like a link up with Stormzy as part of this event, as well as Grimer's in it. Did you think that?
Oh,
they did
a bunch of grime artists.
They did Ed Sheeran, didn't they?
Link up with the UK grime scene. That'd be great.
Grime scene.
Boys, I know that was a very, very long article. There's a lot of bits going on, so we'll just quickly say preliminary view of this event. What do we think of it on paper, and certainly compared to last year where it was just Squirtle bonanza? Ian, quickly, what do you think of this event?
I'm aware that we give very long thoughts. I'm going to keep it very succinct. It's a very starter-heavy event. It will be nice to see the Grimer and the Muck wearing party hats, but these birthday events, they don't quite do it for me. A Pikachu with balloons would have been something nice, but we're not getting that, obviously. So I'm thinking this is going to be very middle of the road. I'm thinking no higher than a 6.
Well, there's no danger of this getting an 8 from me, even though that would be quite a fitting score
Yeah, it would be.
to give this birthday event. Everyone plays this game from a different perspective. However, as a day one player looking at this event, it looks pretty standard for a birthday event. It's a shame that Pikachu hasn't got 8 balloons. I agree with you, Ian. That would have been quite a nice touch
It
there.
would have been nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Exactly, but we've got to be reminded that it's not all about Pikachu. Pokemon Go. Other Pokemon have got to have their time to shine. I won't be playing this event too much, and I'm quite proud to say that. Is it a 4? No, I'm not going to be that harsh on it, but I feel probably a 5 out of 10 for this event.
Okay, and I agree mostly. I'm not a fan of starter Pokemon, really. Unless they're actually quite useful. A lot of them are terrible rubbish. So they'll be plaguing the spawns pretty much, I'm sure, and they're going to be difficult to catch. So don't waste your Pokeballs on them. I like costume Pokemon. Having a new one in the mix, Grimer, is quite funky and fun. And having Shiny Meltan in there as a chase, I'm sure there's going to be like a little boost on the Meltan box time reset as well. Like
there is. If you time it right,
yeah.
I think you can. Or again, this is going out after. So if you've not timed it right, you potentially can
you
open
will have
3 boxes. I think if you time it right.
Yeah, which is nice, and they last an hour, and they get a spawn every minute or so. I think it is. So that's cool. And playing on number 88 rather than number 8. This, for me, is light years better than last year. Last year was just horrendous. Squirtle just everywhere. And then we had Squirtle Community Day and all that. Oh, my goodness me. Or Com Day Classic, sorry. But, yeah, I'll stick with Ian. I think it's a 6 face value. But something that is set to be a 602 out of 10. Marky, take us into July's Community Day.
We have got the Electric Weedle showing up on the July the 21st Community Day, which is a Sunday between 2 and 5 p.m. Yes, Tynamo, the Jellyfish Pokemon, will be featured during the Community Day next month. Yeah, I'm excited about this one, actually. It's going to be fun to try and do excellent curveball catches on it, but don't worry about that.
It's going to be fun to try and tell if it's shiny.
It is. It's such a subtle shiny.
It's so subtle and it's so small. But yeah.
That's what she said.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. So, as I've said before, it's Sunday, July the 21st between 2 and 5 p.m. And with Community Days, the featured Pokemon on the day will be Tynamo. If you evolve Electric, which is Tynamo's evolution during the event, or for up to 5 hours afterwards, to get Electros, it will know the fast attack Volt Switch, which isn't a new move. We know Volt Switch, it's been around before.
For $1 or the equivalent in your local currency, you'll be able to get some Tynamo Community Day exclusive special research, which will pretty much reward you with the good stuff that we get every community. So encounters with the Mons, the evolutions, and especially lots of Dynamos. You can buy the ticket for yourself. You can gift it to friends as long as you are friendship level of great or higher. It's worth the $1, to be fair. It is worth having. Tickets are non-refundable, so if you do buy it for somebody and you fall out with them, you're not going to get a refund. So just be sure you want to gift it before you do that. Now, what you will be asking is, I'm sure, what are the bonuses we're going to be getting for Tynamo Community Day? Well, it's a pretty lame bonus, to be honest. Half hatch distance when eggs are placed in incubators during the event period. Probably the worst bonus you could get for this event. 2 times candy for catching Mons. 2 times chance of trainers level 31 and up to receive Candy XL when catching Pokemon. The ability to drop an incense or use a lure module, and they will last for 3 hours. That does exclude the daily adventure incense. You can take snapshots, which will reward you a surprise. It doesn't say what, but we know what it's going to be, don't we, Mark?
Yeah. It's going to be 5 of the finest, isn't it?
5 of the finest Tynamos. 1 additional special trade can be made for a maximum of 3 for the day. That's good news. And trades will cost 50% less Stardust. Now, before we move on, I just want to say, the poster for this Community Day, I love it. I love seeing that Tynamo swimming through the cave with the light coming through a little hole in the top. It's just a great poster for this Community Day.
It is a very, very nice,
awesome
picture.
Yeah. Brings back memories, Ian, doesn't it, of your deep sea diving?
It brings back memories of when I used to do some cavern diving.
That's Ian's ancestry right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is. It takes me right back to the Red Sea. Yes.
Memories.
If you trace Ian's family tree back far enough, he becomes a Tynamo.
He becomes a Tynamo.
Anyway, from things that you probably should do, the ticket on the community day, to something that I would personally recommend avoiding. The bonus epic raid battles after the community day. These are common now, obviously, with the new format of community days. They start at 5 p.m. and then run till 10 p.m, but actually don't. They stop at about 9 p.m. or just before, so that's been a lie since they've been in place.
The raids are in place, they're just not spawning.
No, I've never ever seen an epic raid spawn after 9.
That's what I'm saying.
Been happening
they
for however
spawn
many
till
years.
9, but obviously by the time they've hatched and ran, they run till 10.
Yeah, but epic, they're not really epic anyway,
There's
are
not
they?
really
If
much
they did
epic
spawn.
about
They don't actually.
No.
If it was to spawn at 9, it would last on the gym until 5:30. So this is just slightly incorrect, and has been slightly incorrect for the entirety of the time. But anyway, no one's going to be raiding at 9 p.m. for an
You would hope
electric or
not.
whatever it is. Really not. So if you do one of these epic raids, of course you'll get Tynamo spawning around the gym for a 300-meter radius for 30 minutes. They are special 4-star raids, and you have to complete them successfully, obviously. They can't be remoted into, because why would you waste a raid pass remotely on these? I don't know. You have some timed research, which will thankfully give you Unova stones, and that will be available from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the day local time. That's great, because you need the Unova stone to evolve. Field research tasks will give you some Tynamo encounters, mostly probably pineapple berries, some stardust and great balls, etc.
Rewards are getting more frequent. I've noticed this over the last few com days.
Despise them. You'll have Pokestop showcases to see if it was XXS showcases for Tynamo, that'd be jokes. But it
Switch
won't
them
be.
on.
Yeah, it won't be. You have to find the biggest Tynamo and whack it into a
Eurogame article.
showcase.
Please refer to
Yeah, and you've got web store bundles and the usual stuff as event bundles, and I think you guys will approve the stickers, actually.
Oh, yes.
The Tynamo stickers are very lovely.
I quite like the one in our colours, actually.
Yeah, I do as well. And I just wanted to bring up a point. I wrote it on the show notes. We've got to throw... It's an OG joke of this show, actually. Marquee Boy, you called this community day like 2 years ago. He said, let's make the electric weevil happen. And it finally is. What do you think of it?
I think it's come at a good time, actually, because everyone will be on a bit of a come down after GoFest Global. It'll be fun for a small amount of time.
3 hours?
Maybe not even that. I think it's a horrible Pokemon to try and catch. It's not going to be one that people are going to grind hard, because it will get infuriating. But it's a good shiny family. I agree with Ian. It's subtle on the first one, but when you get past its primary form, it's actually really nice. It's not a Pokemon I don't think that many people know that well, because I don't think it really serves any purpose in GBL. It's something that a lot of people might be evolving for the first time. Will I play it for the full 3 hours? Probably not. It's a Sunday. It's quite a chill out one. Are we rating this in terms of what we think about it?
Rate it straight away, and then we'll hand it over to Ian.
Awful bonuses, 6.
There we go. The man of the water.
Yes.
What do you think?
Again, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I don't see why I should. We have New York next week. We have Global the week after. Then we pretty much have this. So it's definitely not one I'm going to be taking too hard or too seriously. I like the choice. It's a nice mon. It's not one that you're going to really need like 100 shinies of. I think it looks fairly inoffensive, but with really terrible bonuses other than the trades. So I think this looks like I'm going to go 7, but it's not one I'm going to chase hard.
And I've got to agree, really. I think actually the choice is pretty solid, because new 3-stage shiny family for a community day, that's always a good thing. But as you say, it's a fairly useless Pokemon. I know there'll be some people who say, you can use it in certain GBL metas, but we don't talk about that sort of stuff. Don't know. He's not a direct consultant of the show. So we don't know. Having it just after Global Go Fest with a pretty meh bonus, so no one's going to have to stress about wasting resources on it, and just go for a chilled shiny grind or hunt or whatever it is, I think it's honestly a really good choice. Don't do your 4-star epic raids. I'll give this one a 7 as well, to be honest. I think it's a pretty good choice. However, this is the lead up, boys, to Global Go Fest. Inbound from Ultra Space. This is pretty mental, this article, so we're going to kick things off. This is a new event that will be starting Monday, July the 8th at 8 a.m.
And can I say,
It's-
first off,
I literally read 10 and said 8.
this article is just a wall of words. There are no graphics whatsoever in it.
No, and let's just top line it. I'll get the timing right to start with. 10 a.m. on July the 8th through to Saturday, July the 13th at 10 a.m. So that takes you right up to the very start of Global Go Fest. It's basically the same format as we had, like, what was it, the Road to Sinnoh, which went from Sinnoh Tour LA through to Global, and every day had a different raid boss with a different raid hour. It's essentially the same format, but featuring the Ultra Beasts. So we're going to quickly rattle through this. This is going to be a big wall of text. So every day of this event, there is going to be a raid hour from 6 to 7 p.m. your local time, which is wild. And the Pokemon featured, pick and choose, I guess. The following Pokemon are going to feature in the raids surrounding the day, as well as the raid out on that day. So Guzzlord is featured on July the 8th. Nihilego is featured on July the 9th. Celesteela and Katana are featured on July the 10th. Stakataka and Blacephalon, which still can't be shiny, make that note, are featured on July the 11th. And finally, this is the one I'm quite excited for, Friday, July the 12th, Buzzwole, Pheromosa, and Xurkitree in their specific legions. Pick and choose which ones you fancy.
Yeah, and to go along with that, what would any event be without timed research? Now, I seem to be given a lot of timed research comments today, but here we go. Ultra Beast raid-themed timed research will be available throughout this event, and completing tasks will earn encounters with the following event theme: Pokemon Nihilego, Buzzwole, Pheromosa, Xurkitree, Celesteela, Kartana, Guzzlord, which, as we've said, can all be shiny, Stakataka, and Blacephalon, which cannot.
There are event bonuses. Oh, what's this? What? Oh, remote raids are changing. Oh, interesting.
Only
A
for the event.
raid-focused event.
On a raid
Don't get too excited.
event, remote raid just changes. I thought that was a staple part of the game now. Anyway,
moaning
that's
about it
cynical mark. Cynical mark put aside. The remote
Hello.
raid pass limit will be increased to 20 from Monday, July the 8th to
Wow.
Thursday, July the 11th. So on the less appealing Pokemon, maybe you'd argue, you can go from 5 to 20. However, on Friday, July the 12th to Sunday, July the 14th, interesting.
The FOMO monkey will be out in force.
Ian, there's not going to be a remote raid pass limit. It's
What?
been removed.
You mean on Friday, July the 12th through to Sunday,
Yes.
July the 14th, where we have Buzzwole, Pheromosa, and Xurkitree, 3 of the very hotly tipped shiny regional Ultra Beasts, plus the Global Go Fest don't have a remote raid limit.
I know there's no. It's
Who'd have
it's
thought it?
coincidental.
Who would have thought
Unbelievable.
it?
I would never have thought they'd have a no remote raid cap on such an event where everyone's going to raid.
Everyone, let me
We
raid,
say that,
goddamn
but if
you.
they hadn't dropped this, they wouldn't have been raiding remotely.
Oh, goodness me.
Very true, Ian. You're on the Christ the Redeemer with me, Ian, on this one. I
Which
feel you're
hand? Or is he on the head?
probably on the middle finger. But and traders level 31 and up are guaranteed to receive Candy XL for trading Pokemon from Monday, July the 8th at 10 a.m. right through to Sunday, July the 14th at 11:59 local time. These are
Ooh,
obviously not
yes.
rubbish Pokemon because Francisco has just said, "Get my money."
That's what he's saying to the bank teller.
Apple Pay. I'm sorry.
Get my money.
Get my money. Forget about the chopper. Get my money.
Get the money.
Get the money. There is also an inbound from Ultra Space ticket. Yes, make your week of Raids Ultra with the inbound from Ultra Space Time Research. Trainers participating in Pokemon Go Fest 24 Global on July the 13th and 14th can even take advantage of these ticket bonuses throughout the event weekend. So the ticket will be available for purchase from Monday, July the 8th at 10 a.m. right through to Sunday, July the 14th at 6 p.m. local time. Don't forget you can gift tickets to your Pokemon Go friends and share the fun for $5 or the equivalent pricing tier in your local currency. You will get an additional 5,000 XP from completed raids, 2 times Stardust for winning Ultra Beast raid battles, 1 additional candy awarded for catching Pokemon in 5-star raids, 1 additional candy XL awarded for catching Pokemon in 5-star raids. That's good. Up to 2 free raid passes from spinning photo discs at gyms. And the timed research also includes the following rewards for completing research tasks: 5 Nihileo, 5 Buzzwole, 5 Pheromosa, 5 Xurkitree, 5 Celesteela, 5 Kartana, 5 Guzdord, 5 Stakataka, and 5 Blacephalon Candy XL. Ian, you'll love this one. You get 10 Cosmog Candy.
I think Milo will more. Oh.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Hashtag family friendly.
2024 Stardust, and yes, everybody, you get 1 whole star piece. God, that was your life.
The wrong podcast.
God, that was your life. Traders have both this ticket and the Pokemon Go Fest 2024 Global ticket will be able to obtain up to 10 free raid passes from spinning photo discs at gyms each day during GoFest 24 Global on Saturday, July the 13th and Sunday the 14th of July. Please note that timed research expires. The tasks associated with these timed research opportunities must be completed and the rewards must be claimed before Sunday, July the 14th at 8 p.m. local time. The ticket can also be purchased on the Pokemon Go web store for the same price, with a bonus premium battle pass included. Oh, okay. Cheeky. From Sunday, July the 7th at 12 p.m. PDT to Sunday, July the 14th at 6 p.m. PDT. And bonuses will remain active until Sunday, July the 14th at 8 p.m. local time. Miner, thanks for allowing me to read
breathe.
all that out. I enjoyed that. That was fun.
Breathe.
Thank you.
Goodness
I'll let you do
me.
the fun bit at the end.
What? No, actually, no.
um,
I've got the fun bit. No, I haven't. No. Oh.
Ian, get your fun out.
Whoa, hang on, steady on there.
Milo's kept the best bit for himself.
I'm getting. Hey, it's how the order played out when I wrote everything,
Of
but it's
course,
fine. So, I won't actually be diving into the detail of this because it'll be over to Vasa in a moment to talk about this, but there'll be new Pokemon backgrounds debuting with this. So, after catching certain Pokemon from these raid battles, all trainers will have a chance to receive special backgrounds. So, basically, new styles of catch card, which will have a look on them. They're not specific to a location. They're something else, which we'll talk about very shortly. But Ian, I think you've definitely got the best bit of the article.
Well, some might say that I have. Yes, this.
Some say.
Some say. We're in GoFest season, and what would GoFest season be without global challenges? Now, there's going to be a global challenge for this event. If the challenge is completed in time, all trainers will be able to use Beast Balls when encountering Ultra Beasts during Pokemon GoFest 2024 Global. Now, what does a Beast Ball mean over and above a normal Premier Ball? Not a lot. It just looks cooler.
Better for content creators.
I think aren't they a better catch rate?
I wouldn't have thought so, to be honest.
I remember there being a much better catch rate.
At GoFest in Madrid, we all commented and at Sendai that we're not getting Beast Balls for the raids. It is just Premier Balls, so it's going to be nice. I
remember back in the day they were easier to catch with the Beast Balls.
Well, maybe, but let's face it, you're going to catch it regardless.
Better looking balls, aren't they?
The Beast Ball does look pretty darn cool.
Visually.
So once the challenge is completed, Party Power will charge faster when attempting a raid with your party play in effect, and that will last until July 13th, 2024 at 10 a.m. local time. So please note that the inbound from Ultra Space Global Challenge will run from Sunday, July 7th at 4 p.m. PDT, so it's pretty much the end of GoFest New York, to Friday, July the 12th, 2024 at 12 p.m. PDT. We're back to the Pacific times on this one, boys, because it is a global challenge. And the global challenge for Pokemon GoFest 2024 Global will begin on Friday, July the 12th at 1 p.m. PDT.
Pretty damn tedious.
Pretty damn tedious. Maybe like the global challenge. We'll find that out. But they have done a separate post, which Cascada himself is going to look at regarding those background catch card things.
Yeah, and something that Pokemon Go has done at live events, which has been pretty cool, actually, for the last sort of year or so. Some people call them Pokemon backgrounds. We always used to call them catch cards. They are going to be debuting special backgrounds for this event. So after catching certain Pokemon, we've already talked about, but again, it could be rolled out to others further down the road, trainers will have the chance to receive, and I stress a chance to receive because this isn't guaranteed in every catch, as anyone that's done live events will know, to receive special backgrounds no matter where they are playing from. These backgrounds will appear on the Pokemon's summary page, similar to location backgrounds that are available at IRL events. The new special backgrounds will appear during select in-game events, so it's not going to be a permanent feature, so keep your eyes peeled. And can you collect them all? Well, the FOMO monkey will try, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the first batch of special backgrounds will be released during the Inbound from Ultra Space event we've literally just talked about. So from Monday, July the 8th, 10 a.m. to July the 13th, that's a Saturday at 10 a.m. local time, all trainers will have the chance to receive special backgrounds from Ultra Beasts in Tier 5 raids after making a successful catch. Now, I don't know why it says that, because if you didn't catch the Pokemon, you wouldn't get the background. So it's kind of a redundant statement.
Imagine if you saw the background disappear and go puff on the last ball.
You just have a catch card in your storage.
Just catch card.
Just there, nothing else.
Yeah, and the actual image that sort of advertises this event, it gives us an idea what we can expect. So we've got Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necrozma there, with one's got a sort of sunny background, one's got a moony background, and one's just got an ultra wormhole background, which, again, not saying it's definitely going to be those, but if it is, it's a nice start, actually. It's pretty darn cool. Moving into GoFest 2024 Global, Saturday, July the 13th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time. Well, that's the hours of GoFest 2024 Global. All trainers will have the chance to receive special backgrounds from Ultra Beasts in the Tier 5 raids, including Necrozma, which, if it's anything like in-person events, you're going to have to raid an awful lot to get you shiny, unless you're Italian, that is. On Sunday, the day after, July the 14th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., trainers will have the chance of receiving special backgrounds from Necrozma in Tier 5 raids, again, after making a successful catch. Ticket-holding trainers will also encounter a Solgaleo or Lunala with the special background as part of their ticketed special research. And when fused with Necrozma, the special background, the fused Dusk Mane Necrozma or Dusk Winged Necrozma will have its own variant of this background. I quite like this idea. I think it looks pretty cool. And it's nice it's rolling out to people that aren't just doing IRL events.
Indeed. And actually looking at the whole of this Inbound from Ultra Space event, basically the roads to Global Go Fest, essentially, plus this whole catch card. There's a lot of information in there, boys. Quick thoughts on it, and then obviously, I mean, we've been giving things a rating out of 10 before they even happened, so why the hell not?
Why have we started doing that? I still don't understand.
I don't know, it's just become a thing that's now stuck around. We predict out of 10 what it's going to be, and then we actually realise a couple of weeks later what it was. But I agree with you, Ian. The catch cards or location cards are some of the more appealing bits of live events, and they are very special. And I've personally made the error sometimes of, when doing a random special trade, of giving away a catch card by mistake. Absolutely. Because I don't star things, and I have started starring the catch cards. I think I actually gave away my only Hoenn Tor Kyogre with a catch card by accident, which is not ideal.
Blithering idiot, Whitfield.
And I know, foolish moment from me, but the fact we've got these nice ones coming for this event and then Global Go Fest, they're obviously tailored towards the Ultra Beasts and then Sun and Moon, which is the theme of the whole Go Fest series this year. I really love that addition. It gives these global events an extra little thing to chase, and that's always something we like at these live events that we do. In terms of the actual event itself, I like a raid. You know me, the listeners probably know that I like a raid or two.
We all like a raid, yeah.
I'm personally a big fan of this, particularly with the regional ones, because I know a lot of people be going, I need to focus on whatever this regional Ultra Beast is. Maybe it's Xurkitree. A lot of us want the Xurkitree shiny, and obviously didn't go to Sendai. We're going to potentially remote for it. You might be able to get a few raids in before Go Fest actually kicks off that weekend.
Word of warning, and we talked about this on last week's show. If you've not checked it out, listen to our live show from Madrid. The shiny encounter rates for these raids were so low. It was tough to get hold of these shinies. As I said, unless you were Italian, that is. They.
If I change my nationality, do you think that would help?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
And get myself an Italian
phones with Francesco.
Maybe that'll work. We'll see how we do, because of course you guys had your own experience and I haven't done that yet, so maybe New York will be the telling tale. But the paid ticket thing, if you're going to buy it or gift it, do it before the event starts, because the later you do it, the less raid passes you
Good
get
point.
from it.
It's a good point.
So do that quickly. And honestly, I love the Road to Sinnoh thing with the raids that led up to Sinnoh Tour Global. This is much the same. Each of the Ultra Beasts getting a little day and a rotation of the raid hour. You can partake or not if you fancy it. I'm going to be all over it personally. So I will give this event, I'll give it an 8 out of 10 from the outset. Let's see how wrong I am. What about you, Vassal?
I think this event looks packed. It looks very busy. There's a lot of elements to it. And whilst it does kind of excite me, part of me is thinking that this kicks off after New York. And yes, not everybody's going to New York. I get this. But from those of us that are coming out of New York, I think this could actually burn people out before Global. I think it's one that will have to be played very carefully, because after Madrid, I was done. However, there's a lot in here. There's a lot of good that can come out of it. I think it does look like an 8, but I'm just concerned that I'm actually just going to be burnt out and not going to give it the attention it deserves. It looks like a banger of an event, but coming out of GoFest New York and into Global, I think it could be too much.
I mean, unless I'm missing something here, Global just offers us raids of all the Auto Beasts, doesn't it? So
The ones we have in our region, yeah.
that's what I mean. So we can remote raid all the other ones, can't we, during Global? So,
Yeah. With no remote raid limit. How funny.
funny that, isn't it? Hey, it's a shame the catch cards aren't going to include places like that we know. It'd be lovely to get a catch card, Walpole Park, shiny,
Yeah, they just have the bandstand.
bandstand on it. All
Actually,
like
I'm glad they're not doing that. Thank you,
golden-
Niantic.
His finger, is it?
The golden
Is it
finger.
the golden finger with the apple
Go!
being at your place. That'd be cool if it had that
The
as a
girthy
catch
oak.
card, wouldn't it? You know, a Newton's apple.
That'd be quite cool,
That
actually.
would
I
be.
don't know how they do that. If they gave you a catch card from the gym that you raided at.
That'd be amazing. But hey, maybe in 10 years' time, we might get that dynamic in the game. I agree with Ian 100%. I won't be giving this any thought, really, because we've got Global, which will offer us most of this anyway. And I think it's better in person, raiding with people and getting remote raids in that sense. So, love the opportunity to spend more money on the game. Obviously, trying to take advantage of people that won't be in New York, because I think people will be frazzled after New York. Good try. You haven't pulled the wool over my eyes, Niantic. I'm only joking. It's a great event. Looks brilliant. I give it an 8 as well. But I do think it's you'll put into it what you want to put into it.
Yeah.
Because I think Global will take people's attention back for the majority of players in the world, and certainly for those that have probably recovered from New York, then we'll give it a go. But yeah, good at 8. Looks good, doesn't it? Looks good. A lot there.
So we've got a trio of 8s for an 8-year anniversary event. Lovely. But that's one section of July. In fact, we know most of July anyway, because it's GoFest Central and then this inbound from Ultra Space. But of course, we have July's info drop, boys. Let's see what spotlight hours are coming up.
Well, we've talked about a lot of this sort of stuff already, because July is very packed because of New York Go Fest and Global. So first up, July 6th to July 9th. This will run in tandem with the New York Go Fest. Shiny Ducklet, as we know, will be dropped to the world with the Aquatic Paradise. And
Ooh,
yes, we like an aquatic paradise. It takes me back. 10 a.m. local time on the 6th, running through to 8 p.m. local time on the 9th. We've talked about the inbound from Ultra Space. That's going to run from the 8th of July to the 13th of July, 10 a.m. till 10 a.m. And the reason it finishes at 10 a.m. is because that goes straight into Global Go Fest, 13th and 14th of July, 10 a.m. through to 6 p.m. each day. And then that takes us straight into the Ultra Unlock Part 1, which will run from July the 17th, 10 a.m. local time, through to July the 22nd at 8 p.m. local time. This one's called Better Together.
Friends.
Oh, friends.
Oh, friends.
Well, we are better together, but it's very cryptic. We'll see what this brings to the game. And then smack bang at the end of the Ultra Unlock, we've got July's Community Day. And as we talked about, this one, left field, is none other than Tynamo, the electric Weedle.
Yeah.
Favorite.
Mm-hmm.
The second part of the Ultra Unlock will run from July the 25th at 10 a.m. local time through to July the 30th at 8 p.m. local time. And Whitfield has a few ideas around this one, Steel of Strength.
Well, strength of steel. It's a factual statement, this one.
Oh, yes, that's me not reading the release properly. Strength of Steel. You know what? Steel of Strength sounds better, actually. But
Featuring Henry Cavill.
Exactly. And then part 3 of the Ultra Unlock. Well, this actually, again, is part of part 2. So part 3 is part of part 2.
Makes
It's a
sense.
raid day, a mega raid day, July 27th. A mega raid day. That's between 11 and 5, so 6 hours.
That's very generous.
What do we think? Mega Metagross?
Or Lucario.
Or potentially Lucario. But
Or the worst of the 3 remaining potentials is Marwile.
let's hope it's...
It's going to be a
Let's hope
steel.
it's Metagross.
Yeah, I hope so. Steel type Mega, come in. Please be Metagross or Lucario. Now, talking about the raid game for July, and we'll actually continue with Megas. So there's only 2 featured for the entire month. Mega Swampert is from July the 8th to the 23rd, 10
We
a.m.
like
to
Swampy.
10 a.m. It's
Yeah.
a great Mega. Very highly recommended, although it's already kind of overshadowed by the plethora of Ultra Beasts available.
Certainly not overshadowed what we've got at the end of July.
No, and I feel like we've had this one fairly recently as well. So to finish July and run into August, Mega Aggron's back. Whoop-de-doo, people. However, July's weekend-based Shadow Tier 5 raids are, of course, going to be Entei for its second rotation, although I highly suspect that a lot of people are going to be doing other raids rather than this, considering Global Go Fest and
I
New
think
York
they're
Go
going
Fest.
to be doing, aren't they? Yeah.
Exactly. Now, the 5-star raid game was already quite complicated, but we're going to throw some more legendaries into the mix because,
Let's
of course,
complicate it some more.
it's for the first 8 days of July. Ho-Oh is in the 5-star raids with a raid out on July the 3rd. Then, as we mentioned earlier, with the inbound from Ultra Space, we have Guzzlord on July the 8th. And they make this extra complicated by saying July 8th to 9th because the switchover is on the 9th. Nihilego, July the 9th to the 10th. Celesteela and Katana, July the 10th to the 11th. Stack Attack and Blacephalon, July the 11th to the 12th. July the 12th to the 15th is going to be Buzzwole, Pheromosa, and Circuitry. Then we've got the remaining. Articuno makes a return July the 15th to the 23rd, and Tornadus Incarnate Form, the on-cloud useless flying type, is back July the 23rd to August the 3rd, and your raid hours will be the following. Already mentioned Ho-Oh is the 3rd, and we have the whole week of raid hours with the Ultra Beast. We talked about that earlier. However, Articuno is getting July the 17th as its raid hour, and Tornadus tragically gets 2. July the 24th and July the 31st. Oh dear God, that's awful. Obviously, raid hours are Wednesdays, 6 to 7 p.m. your local time, except for that inbound from Ultra Space week where every day has a raid hour, Monday to Friday. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, and raid hours might be on a Wednesday between 6 and 7, but on a Tuesday between 6 and 7 p.m. local time, we have Spotlight Hours. Sorry, Marky, I'm actually taking this one this month.
All right, Ian.
Prepare yourself for these, because you might not be as excited as you think. Pikachu wearing the cake hat will be July 2nd, the Cakachu, with 2 times catch
Nice.
XP. Spheal, July the 9th. I feel that one's been around before, but this one
And
doesn't have a
Community
scarf.
Day.
And the Community Day, and this
And
one has 2 times
also
catch candy.
overruns with Nihilego raid hour for that special week.
Yeah, I think I'd rather be raiding Nihilego if I actually had the time to do so. And on July the 9th, I will potentially not have, because I think I'll be on a plane coming
You
back
will
from
be on
New
a
York.
plane, Vasa.
Yeah. Now it does get slightly better. July 16th, we have Binacle with 2 times transfer candy.
Bicycle.
Binacle. July the 23rd, I am so sorry, people, but Diglett's back with 2 times evolution XP. And it shares its Spotlight Hour with a Lowland Diglett.
That's tragic.
Yeah. Now, I see a little wry smile on Milo's face, because on July the 30th, the Todger is getting its Spotlight Hour. Todger tomorrow. There's no shiny Simple Bite, because at this point in time it isn't shiny, but we've got a feeling.
Well, not only a feeling, apparently when the infographic was first posted, it had a shiny symbol on it. So, Strength of Steel, this Spolhour falls right at the tail end of that sort of section of event. I'd be very, very surprised if the Todger doesn't become a sparkly thing during part 2 of the Ultra Unlock. And dude, it's double catch dust.
I was
on
about
that
to
one.
say it's a good bonus. 2 times catch Stardust.
Go and capture as many Todgers as you can. And quickly to finish up, obviously in 2 weekends' time, we have the Global Go Fest. This information is actually going to be kind of more useful for when it starts, because the raid bosses are as follows. Day 1, July the 13th, we're going to have all the Ultra Beasts as well as standard Necrozma, of which all of them will be shiny except for Stakataka and Blacephalon. The key thing to note with these is they're all labeled as globally available, but they are going to be locked into their specific regions, so you will be able to remote into them with our good old no remote raid cap there.
They are, Milo, but day 2 brings a little bit of spice to the mix, and we like spice. Duskmane and Dawn Wings Necrozma will be in raids. Anyone that's been to IRL Go Fest that could only evolve one of the 2, now's your chance. Both of them will be available.
100%. And once you defeat these from the raids on Sunday of Global Go Fest, you'll get to catch the standard Necrozma from it, but you should get the lunar and solar energy that you need.
You'll get the energy that you need for the appropriate one.
Exactly, but we've seen quite a few people asking questions about the Global Go Fest raids, what's happening when. It is plain as day, written in black and white on this infographic. The Dawn Wings and Duskmane are Sunday only, and it's just those on the Sunday. There's nothing else diluting the pool. The Saturday has all of the Ultra Beasts in there with their shiny potentials. So, for example, if you're a Northern Hemisphere player and you want to raid Celesteela, you will have to remote into the Southern Hemisphere.
Absolutely, and even though there are no geographic requirements on the infographic that you can find on X, Instagram, or other socials, they will be in place. But remote raid cap limit has been lifted, so you can knock yourself out that weekend.
I will be knocking myself out a lot. I will give a little word of advice, which is I didn't listen to this advice because I raided remotely for Necrozma in both Sendai and Madrid. Thanks, boys, for a few invites. Anybody who's looking for Buzzwole invites for New York Go Fest, don't remote that when you have Buzzwole come in the next Friday with a shiny potential from your own remote raids, and there's a better remote raid cap on that. And then you have the Global Go Fest, which you can chase it all hours with no remote raid limit at all. So this is almost saying, guys, you've got no need to remote into New York Go Fest.
What is actually
you can
saying,
do your raids
what
after.
Milo's really saying is, do as I say, not as I do. Yes.
Not
Yes.
as I have done.
Will have done
in the past.
That's exactly what you're saying, Ian.
Past tense. Will have had. No, because I'm actually in New York, so it's fine for me. The same practice.
So you're not going to send any invites
from Madrid.
out from New York?
I'll send invites, just people choose whether they accept them or not. I'll provide the incentive. It's up to the players
The first
to decide,
one's free.
Maybe not. But that's not the only advice that we give to you wonderful listeners. The other thing we've encouraged you to do is contact Ian directly in the north.
Yes, it is WhatsApp messages time, and the WhatsApp phone has been busy while we've been overseas in Madrid. So we've actually had, as I said at the top of the show, we've had a few text messages come through, but this is all about the voice messages. And the first one is from Del Hazard X.
Hello lads, Dwayne here. I've just finished listening to episode 175 and felt obligated to give an update on my side-up troubles. So the Slumbering Sands event is over now, and in my Pokédex I've seen 1,635 Psyduck, and I still haven't seen my own shiny in the wild.
Oof.
I have hatched my own one, which was the Holiday Psyduck, but I can't seem to get my own in the wild or in research, so sad times. I do obviously have, I'm currently up to 27 traded shinies, no Shundo yet. So yeah, just a reminder to everyone, if you have a spare Psyduck, please save one for me, especially if I haven't got one from you before, so I can add it to my collection. But yeah, hope you were all doing well. Mark and Ian, hope Madrid was amazing. Milo, hope Italy was the same. And I'll see you all soon for New York or global. All right, take care, lads.
Yes. Thank you, Tway, for sending that in. We will see you. Yeah, New York and all global for that
He
one.
did mention New York, Milo. He was just referencing how good Madrid was for me and Ian.
Yeah, and how wonderful
exactly.
Sardinia was for
Milo
me.
in his canoe. Anyway,
It's a paddleboard
Oscar's
here.
been on, also known as Nilandic, with his first message to the Incensed podcast.
Hello, it's Oscar, your youngest listener here.
Hey.
I'm 14 years old. I keep bees. I have many other hobbies like canoeing.
Just like Milo. There you go.
Milo
I'm
does as
a
well.
very sporty person, but I also love Pokemon Go. I've met so many great people, just like yourselves, who are so kind, honest, and generous to other people. And without Pokemon Go, I think my life would have been very different. I love this year so far. I mean, most of the events have been absolutely crap. And the weather, we've had no spring up in the north.
Cuts to it.
And well,
Ian knows that,
Niantic always, not listening to people doesn't help. But I hate this doom spiral that YouTubers have been doing lately, where they say, oh, the game will fail when it's not going to. I mean, you three guys just tell it how it is. You're not like, oh, woe is me when anything fails or any event is bad. You give your honest opinions, and I respect you for that, rather than taking big cash grabs and then going to Sendai, like certain YouTubers. I want to thank you for making my days better and to make me as a better, well-rounded person in general. I mean, I love podcasts, but when I say to other children that I listen to a podcast, they laugh at me because, well, they're missing out on
Absolutely.
the wonderful conversations you can hear and the wonderful people and communities you can make and meet. I mean, I've met you in real life. You're just as nice as you are on camera. And I remember doing that first trade with Masterfall 27 and that trade being lucky, which I've still got called it Bundelenga after Poops, my man.
I give Lucky
I just
Trade
wanted to send this in. I mean, I've tried to send 3 or 4 before, but I'm just very nervous to say anything. So I'm just sending this in. But if you want me to send another, I'm more than happy to. I can create a poem or a rap if you would like. In spirit of Pen Pal Simon, of course, because he's not created one for a while.
Yeah.
One important thing I think, though, is that you guys continue to make this sort of content. I mean, there's many people in the world, actually, that listen to you. And I just want to say thank you, quite simply. So, 5 stars from Oscar, and subscribe, follow, review, and listen to the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Oscar.
Thank you very much for sending that in. Good stuff for getting the message out there. And yeah, we try and keep it real. And we hope we provide the informative and factualness of doing a Pokemon Go podcast on top of a Jesus statue. It's been quite rounded tonight.
Oscar makes a really valid point, actually, because it is true. Like, since Slim Shady left us, gone now.
That's true.
PayPal Simon's also gone. So are they the same person? One of those mysteries. Who knows? But I think that's a real powerful message, actually, from Oscar. Lovely, lovely lad. Lovely to meet him and his dad. I do think that podcasts have kind of slipped into that sort of middle-age sort of ear listening, and upwards. And I think if the pandemic proved anything, is that a lot of different people used it as a new way of creating content. I think we've stuck true to that over this journey we've been on. And if you're friends with Oscar, don't take the mickey out of him. Listen to our show as well. If you like Pokemon Go,
You're missing out.
Yeah, I would like to say we definitely haven't gone middle-aged, because Oscar referenced PayPal Simon. Well, PayPal Simon did actually send us a GIF, and it's one that's been all over social media, and it's a very pretty girl walking with a guy turning around looking at him, his girlfriend being very disappointed.
Oh, the classic one.
Shiny Larvesta, Pokecoins, and GoFest.
Still alive.
So there we go. We're appealing to the younger demographic with a meme. So that is it from the WhatsApp messages. But don't forget, we would love to hear your voice. So send us your WhatsApp messages, voice ones, please. We've got one more sort of studio episode before we're in New York. But we actually do have some what Buzzsprout are now calling fan mail. It'll say send us a text message when you actually see it on your podcast platform. And this one is from the UK with a phone number ending 8014. And it said, my son started his Pogo journey. What's your biggest tip for new players? And what would you do differently knowing what you know now? I've introduced him to chasing the tail, and on every school run this week, he's asked to play it. We keep ending on N, though. Shiny look, Jovolvo.
Oh, Javolo, thank you very much for using our latest feature.
Why did you know this person?
I've seen them pop up on socials and through comments and stuff before. You can't beat a bit of chasing the tail.
Chasing the tail, great game.
Really?
When I first read it, this is how dyslexic I'm turning in my aging years. I thought it said Joe Volvo, but it's Joe Volvo.
No, I've nearly made that mistake as well, but I am fully dyslexic, so that makes sense. All right, round the table, one tip for a new player. What would you give them?
So my tip for a new player, and it's a very simple one because I know these can get quite difficult and quite convoluted, is simply don't get overwhelmed. There's so much that you can now do within Pokemon Go that it's just literally take one step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. Everything will come eventually, and you don't have to have the best mons straight away. You will build up your sort of powerful decks, your powerful battlers as you go through your journey.
Yeah, my tip for new players is just don't feel entitled. Don't feel like you should be entitled to everything in the game. And if you make peace for that quite early, you'll enjoy it more. Just because you don't get a new shiny when it comes out, don't feel like you should give up the game because of that. It doesn't work like that. Don't feel like you should be entitled to everything that comes in the game.
There we go. And I'd say just catch what you can and practice your excellent throws, really, because that will stand you in good stead for anything and everything coming your way with the game, and it'll help you with the XP grind as well. So there we go. There are 3 tips for you, and, well, there's actually a 4th tip that I can see arising from the bottom of the screen there. Is that...
Yeah, very nicely put there, Milo. I forgot to add to my little tip, actually. My little tip, do you like that?
Oh, will you?
I was going to say,
the cherry on top of the tip.
I've been playing the game since it was day one, and I hatched my first shiny Pichu at Isle of Wight Festival. 8 years in the making, my first one I've ever had. So there you go.
There we go.
Feel like everything's entitled to it. So we had fun with the poll at the beginning of the show. We shared where we would like to record a live show of our choices, and we asked you, the lovely listeners and the audience, on our X account to vote for which one of these you agreed with the most. As always, I've asked you to please vote, repost, and comment with your thoughts. Well, let's read out 2 or 3 of the responses before we go to the end with the answer. Lucy Davis put Diddley Squat Farm and get Jeremy Clarkson as a guest on the podcast. That would be hilarious. Unlikely, but hilarious. Yes. Anything is possible, though. Chicken Chaser 89 has put live from Christ Redeemer's middle finger. Little eyes on there. And then Ben McKenzie's put, I read that as top of the shed, not top of the shard. Very good.
On top of your shed, Marky.
Oh dear. Well, anyway,
actually, Mark could record from the top of his shed next week.
I could do. Damn sight cooler than it is inside it. So the results are as follows. In 4th place with 10%, it's the top of my shed. Top of the shard, 13% in 3rd place. Barely got onto the podium on Christ the Redeemer.
Okay.
Height, scared of height, Milo. Shard and Christ the Redeemer, they like the height. That's all it is, mate. In second place, and on 28% of the vote, Diddly Squat Farm, 28%.
Yes.
And resounding first with 48%. It was one that none of us
Doesn't count
picked.
them. Doesn't count.
It was suggested to us. It was the Antarctica with 48%, the resounding victory. So 60 people voted. Thank you very much to each and every one of you who did.
Oh dear, look what we've just got on the chat.
Me. Well, hashtag Team Antarctica. If anybody has a vessel that they wouldn't mind us boarding to Antarctica, let us know via X,
Instagram, Threads, WhatsApp messages,
DM.
or contact at
Any
incensepodcast.com.
or all of the above. And it's funny we're mentioning all these socials because, of course, it's our favourite section of the show. We're diving onto those socials for
Shinies of the week.
Well, my first one isn't on any social media. It was one that was shared with me directly when I was at the Isle of Wight Festival. And there's only one person that I'm going to shout out for this week's Shines of the Week. It was my mate Barry, Bovril Barry, as some people have more affectionately known him as. He very kindly traded me a Shalundo, a Magikarp, which was unexpected, as with all these things. Well, Barry got his first ever Shundo, which was obviously something to be very excited about.
Nice.
It was Yveltal. It's his first
bacon.
ever Shundo. It was a 2160 CP. Did not know it was a Hundo at the time, but it shined. And when he did the IV check, it was a Shundo Yveltal. And I've got to say, that's probably one of the best ones you get as your first Shundo. So well done, Barry.
That is
Well done
fabulous.
indeed.
I'm going to jump in next. And we had, well, actually, Mark, I don't know if this tops Barry's, but it certainly rivals it. Gemma messaged into our WhatsApp number with her Shiny of the Week, or should I say with her Shundo of the Week. And it is the Shiny 100% Pansage from Madrid. And the message goes along with it. Hey, lost my voice, so hope a text is okay. Well, this time it is, Gemma. Next time, call him. For hashtag Shiny of the Week, here's my best catch from Madrid. A Shundo Pansage. Wild catch too. That is impressive. Also, I have the same issue of the campfire link sending me to the Apple Store on Android. Simple answer, get an iPhone. Is it possible to get a link? If you DM us, we'll see what we can do. Just DM us on X and we'll see what we can do.
We really need to sort that out.
Also caught it on the hop-on, hop-off bus, which is pretty cool too. And that's from Gemma Mystical in Pokemon Go.
That is fantastic. I'm actually going to pick one from the email, contact@incensedpodcast.com. This is from Ollie, who put hashtag Shinies of the Week, and it is the beautiful new shiny Larvesta. He managed to hatch it on the 22nd. And yeah, fantastic. It is 2-star, but it's a fabulous shiny. Very, very rare. So big congrats on that one. It's all right. Mine was even worse. Hey, it's good. Big congrats.
A 1-star Milo? A 1-star from an egg?
It was a -7 star.
Right, one from our very good friend of ours, actually, Kate Neon, or NeonNet on X. Well, hey, hashtag Shiny Pokemon, hashtag Shinies of the Week. Listening to the latest at Incensed podcast, having a walk, getting over the last of a bout of the Rona. Oh, bless you. Download looked miserable when you were there, but I think the music kept everyone's spirits up. Cry face, feeling so much better, and cherry on the top now, getting the shiny Joltik Famalam now completed. Thanks for the little boyos, Neon Kate, with her second shiny Joltik. Well done,
GG's
you.
Kate. We've got another Shinies of the Week from the WhatsApp line. Yes, they're coming through thick and fast. This one is from Jet, who sent this in on Saturday. It's a shiny Turtonator. Egg hatch. Unfortunately, not the Larvesta. Hashtag Shinies of the Week, but it's a 3-star shiny Turtonator. And also, tagged onto that is a shiny Fampi. Found my last Johto shiny that I needed for the shiny living Dex. Hashtag Shinies of the Week. 2 great shinies there, Jet. GG's.
Fantastic. And I'm going to round this section out this week with CeeLo from our campfire community. We really need to sort that link out, actually.
Like Grime Artist.
Almost every week someone's like,
Green.
I can't get the link. But hashtag, we won't forget this shiny, hashtag Shinies of the Week, bagged an XXL slack off with the visor on my first research task
I was gonna say,
of the
that's
event. That's
throwing back
obviously
2-3
throwing it
weeks,
back
yeah,
a little
wow.
bit, but it's been a while since we were recording in the studio itself. An XXL Shiny Slakoth, I had to mention that one. This is one of my favourite shinies, so congrats, CeeLo. And honestly, there were so many more that were posted. Obviously, we had Madrid Go Fest in the midst of all of this. You guys got quite a lot of them live, but there were so many more across all of our socials. We thank everybody for sending them in. Keep using hashtag Shinies of the Week. But that is going to wrap up episode 177, folks. If you enjoyed this show, there are a handful of things that you can do. First is make sure that you follow the podcast so we're automatically downloaded to you every Sunday when we drop a brand new episode. Next, you can rate us 5 stars and leave a lovely written review if you can do. Also, sharing the podcast with your friends and Pokemon Go community if you enjoy us. Spread the pod. Why not? Don't spread the spicy love. Don't spread the spicy love. Finally is our Patreon. We have a fantastic squad of people who support the podcast by going above and beyond and going the extra mile. So a big thank you to every single person who's on the bronze, silver, and gold tiers. These people really are the reason we're able to continue producing this podcast to a very high standard that we're proud of and keep it running for 177 weeks now, never missing one. So a special thanks to all of our gold tier patrons who are the following: Mandy Croft, Maz aka Ozma Lionheart, Highbone, Barside2, Mufti, Apex171, Connolly, Kerry and Zachary, Darby Russ, Clifford Mert, and JB. You guys are awesome people, and thank you so much. And we've got to give a shout out to our 2 admins who do help us behind the scenes and with a lot to do with this podcast, and they are I Am Prius and Hermes Ninja. So thanks to those guys as well. There is still time to go and grab some of our GoFest merch. There's New York and Global that we've dropped recently. They're across both of our stores, catering to whichever region you are tuning in from. But that's all we have time for on this show, and we'll see you in July.
Wait, boys, good news.
What?
Pikachu wearing a cake hat, as we discussed earlier, is going to be this week's Spotlight Hour. Yes, July the 2nd with 2 times catch XP.
Well, on that bombshell, we shall see you all next week with our New York City Go Fest focused show. There's a lot of good stuff coming up next week, and we'll see you out there, hopefully.
I choose you!